Welcome to Alaska Weather, a production of Alaska Public Media and the National Weather Service, Alaska Region. Produced and broadcast daily from the studios of KAKM, Alaska Weather provides complete forecasts, public, marine, and aviation for all of Alaska. Alaska Weather is made possible by the following sponsors.
The National Weather Service.
Welcome to your Alaska Weather. I'm meteorologist Percy, and you can follow us on Facebook or Twitter, and you can also follow us on www.arh.noaa.gov. And this is your Alaska Weather for February 23rd, 2016. Starting off with tonight's hazards, there's over the Denali, we have a wind advisory that will be from 6 a.m. Wednesday through 3 p.m. Thursday. And during the same time frame, the eastern Alaska range has a high wind warning for gusts to 75 miles per hour. And again, that's going to be the same time frame as the wind advisory. And for the western Kenai, we have a small flood stream advisory. That's going to be from currently right now through Thursday, 3:45 p.m. and that's going to be south of Kenai. And they're expecting, with this low pressure system we're going to be talking about entering the Gulf with possibly heavy rain at times, and then with the snow accumulation that you had over the weekend, those combination of those two will have water going into the small streams. So that's why they issued a flood advisory, small stream. Okay, starting off with the satellite, I'll put it in the loop. And again, you can see this cyclonic circulation here just south of Kodiak. This secluded low is pushing up into the southwestern Gulf region, and it's bringing a large swath of moisture with it. And that's bringing the warm air. And again, they'll help with the melting of the snow there along the western Kenai for that advisory. Anyway, with that, you'll have continued strong southeasterly flow and just pumping up moisture up with a nice warm air advection. On the northwest coastline, you have a weak disturbance here, a stationary front that's producing some snow showers, cloud cover over the Chukchi Sea there, and some fog and blowing snow over the Arctic coastline also east of Barrow. And put it into loop. The southeast, again, this occluded front that's starting to push up into the eastern Gulf is bringing some cloud cover along the southeast panhandle, but for the most part, it's mostly cloudy skies. No precipitation coming into that region currently. But with this strong push of southeasterly winds and air, you're getting a loud cloud mass being pushed out through into the interior south central region and farther north reaching Fairbanks. For the Bering side, you have another occluded low that's approaching the central Aleutians there, and that's just bringing around, wrapping around moisture extending over into the Bering, and that's going to pretty much stay there for the next couple days there as it fills. Coming off of the northern Bering Sea, you have some stratus and low fog in this region that will continue to develop. And again, put it in the loop, you can see again this large swath of moisture just barreling into the southwest and interior Alaska region. For today's weather, again, we've been talking about this secluded low that's going to continue to fill and a strong southerly push. You have this high pressure over the southeast panhandle, so a combination of that, this front's moving in and causing this strong pressure gradients in here, so resulting in strong winds throughout the Gulf. Along the Alaska Range into north of the Denali region, you have a weak trough here, and that's producing some scattered snow showers, as well as there's some isolated scattered snow showers there in Portage region. Farther north, you have that weak stationary front that's over the northwest coastline over to the Arctic, also towards the Beaufort Sea, and you have some scattered snow showers, some fog near Barrow, and then east of Prudhoe Bay, you have scattered snow showers. In the Bering, you have scattered snow showers with this weak trough that's extending over the western Aleutians. Tonight's forecast, it's pretty much the same, just this low starting to fill more and push a little bit farther northeast, but it continued a southerly flow of moisture and strong winds. You're going to have rain along the coastline, and you start moving the interior, you'll have mixed precip, but farther as you go interior, you'll have scattered snow showers. And again, this weak trough is through the interior. It's producing some scattered snow showers for tomorrow, actually for tonight, excuse me, with this trough in vertical motion. So you'll have continued there scattered snow showers, as well as the remaining, what's left over with that weak stationary front that's dissipating with scattered snow showers throughout the Arctic coastline. Over the western Gulf, the western Aleutians, you have the weak trough, and that's producing just scattered snow showers and rain mix on the Pacific side with the warmer air. For a Wednesday forecast, again, the secluded low is starting to fall apart, and the front, as you can see, is breaking down. You have continued moisture and rain affecting the northern and southeast coastlines, and you'll have a wintry mix inland. Otherwise, for the southeast panhandle, they have a little bit of a break just south of the Dixon entrance, and high pressure is still sitting off to the east of the southeast panhandle. It's building in to the interior, but otherwise, the northern Bering and the southwest coastline will continue to have scattered snow showers with these weak troughs rotating around this 959 millibar low there, sitting south of the eastern Aleutians. The western Aleutians will have the continued weak troughs pushing through and scattered snow showers. For Thursday, this occluded low that was sitting on the Pacific side pushes to the Bristol Bay region or the eastern Bering, and it'll pretty much bring a large swath of warm air through the southwest interior of the Bristol Bay region and spilling over to the lower Kesselman Delta area near Bethel anyway. So you'll have rain showers there, and then a mixture of rain and snow farther inland. Farther north, going up to the lower Kuskokwim Valley to Seward Peninsula, you're going to have scattered snow showers, and all the way up to Point Hope as well. You have a weak trough over the Arctic Bay region that's going to be pushing through, and again, scattered snow showers. For the southeast, this second occluded low, North Pacific low, will continue to fall apart. And again, a southeasterly flow will bring in moisture to the southeast panhandle, and you'll have winter mix farther inland and snow farther north. Temperatures as of 2 p.m. Pretty much, again, this warm southerly push, you're going to have high temperatures. The Kodiak coming at 38. Looks like Seward came in at 39, Valdez at 37, Anchorage at 31. The southeast panhandle, you had pretty much lower 40s to upper 40s high coming in there at Kloak, and that's pretty nice weather there. Farther north, it's cooling off with the cooler temperatures, and as you can see, 16 there in the Yukon Valley. For 2 p.m. Farther north, again with the colder air up over the Arctic coastline, you can see Dead Horse came in with a low of 5 and a -6 over Point Hope there. So again, the cooler temperatures with the colder air. The Southwest Territory, you'll have the northeast winds coming off of from the Alaska Range, and that's downsloping and warming up in that region there. So you can see the temperatures in the mid-30s. And along the chain, again, with this occluded system over just south of Kodiak, and then the second occluded system south of the Central Aleutians, you can have all this warm air pushing in. So again, you're going to have, not surprised to see the temperatures in the upper 30s, 41 there at AKwx, actually, excuse me, at Atka, and 37 at ADAC. A little cooler there out at Shemya, coming in at 33. Tonight's low temperatures, again, the coldest temperatures are going to be north over Barrow, coming at -2, Point Hope at -2, and east of Prudhoe Bay, -2 also. And then the warmer temperatures for tonight's low will be, again, along the chain and along the western coastline here. 40 coming in at Kodiak, and along the Aleutians, 32 down at Shemya, with the colder northwest winds in that region. For the southeast, you're going to have tonight's lows in the pretty much in the lower to upper 40s, lower 40s that is. And again, the highest temperature at Kloak at 41. Tomorrow's high temperatures, no surprise, are going to be, we'll start over to the southeast with the strong southeasterly winds and warm air pushing in. Again, your high temperature is going to be at Kloak again at 50. And you can see pretty much the temperatures in the southeast panhandle are going to be in the pretty much the mid-40s. As well as the Gulf and along the Aleutian Range in the 40s. King Salmon 46, Dillingham at 39, and then the coldest temperatures for tomorrow's high will be again up there along the Arctic coastline, 9 coming in at Barrow. Tomorrow's flying weather, pretty much with these systems, you're going to have marginal IFR to VFR, along with these occluded lows here in this region, Kodiak, extending into the Gulf, and along with a second occluded low entering the Central Aleutians here with the northeast flow and coming in this region. Along this weak stationary front that's falling apart, you're going to have a marginal VFR to IFR conditions. Tomorrow's flight conditions. AKwx, VFR conditions. Adigan, VFR conditions. Lake Clark to Merrill, marginal VFR to VFR. Rainy, marginal VFR to IFR. Windy, marginal VFR. Isabel, marginal VFR to VFR. And Matasta, marginal VFR to VFR. Tanita, marginal VFR to IFR. Portage, IFR. Chillicook and White, marginal VFR. And tomorrow's morning's freezing levels is going to be at the surface here, pretty much through the central bearing, extending along the northern coastline. You do have, with this occluded low, some warm southerly air. They're trying to show pushing up warm air here in the southwest interior there in the lower Kuskokwim Valley. But the warmest, highest heights are going to be over the southeast portion with the high pressure dominating over the southeast, the ridge building in. So that's why you have higher freezing levels, 2,000 to 6,000. Tomorrow's icing, you're going to have light to moderate from 4,000 to 12,000, pretty much along the range in the eastern Aleutians. From 2,000 to 8,000 with that weak stationary front that's falling apart along the Arctic coastline. And then with that other occluded front that's going in the Gulf, you have from 8,000 to 15,000 there. Tomorrow's jet northwesterly at 160 knots, becoming more zonally at 130, and stays zonal at 100 knots. Then you have a weak jet at 90 knots that's going to transition to westerly flow through the northern lower 48. And you have a weak southerly jet, or they're north of Kamchatka Peninsula. Tomorrow's 9,000 winds, you get the cyclonic flow, so strong southeasterly flow here, 40 to 50 knots, northeasterly 20 to 30 on the backside, and over the southeast panhandle, southeasterly winds 40 to 45 knots, going around becoming anticyclonic with this high pressure that's in the interior. So we have weaker winds there. Tomorrow's 3,000-foot winds, the same thing, cyclonic flow, so strong southeasterly winds out ahead, 40 to 25 knots on the backside, northeast flow. And again, along southeast panhandle, 25 to 15 knots southeasterly, weaker as you go farther north with the high pressure. Tomorrow's turbulence below 4,000 along the Aleutian Range, southwest interior, and northern coastline, and along below 5,000 along the chain, light to occasional moderate, and southeast Panhandle below 5,000, and just east of the Seward Peninsula below 4,000. We'll be back with your marine forecast after this.
Okay, go ahead. Okay. Whoa! Whoa! Hey, go man overboard! I'll get my man overboard on the starboard! Don't take your eye off of him! I'll get the signal fall! Still got him in sight? Okay. Where'd he go? Still got him. Okay. Hold on. Okay. Get the line on as soon as you can. He's got something to hold on to. I'll get a little more to starboard. Okay. Hard starboard. How you doing, Hank? Okay? Okay, give him a hand there. Come on, line. Put the line again. Line out there. Okay, throw. Let me know when you got the line up. Hydraulics going on. Okay. 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 All right. Yeah, we got it. Coming up. Got it.
People who live in the north, who live, work, and play on or near cold water or in cold weather, should be ready to deal with hypothermia. To know what it is, know how to prevent it, how to recognize it, and how to treat it. Whether you realize it or not, most of us have been hypothermic at one time or another. When was the last time you shivered from the cold? Did it take hours or just a few minutes? Hypothermia can develop slowly or very quickly. Hypothermia is an injury that is just beginning to be understood by modern scientists. Hypothermia is the lowering of the body core temperature. The core is the critical inner portion of the body, including the heart, brain, and lungs. The core is where life remains if there is any chance for survival. Before you can understand hypothermia, you need to know that the circulatory system controls the body temperature much like a hot water heating system does in a home. When the arms or legs get cold, the core sends warm blood out to rewarm them. The core can't afford to send out more warm blood without cooling itself. It then reduces blood flow to these areas in order to minimize its own heat loss. However, if too much heat is lost from the body, it will die. We can prevent hypothermia in two ways: by adding heat or by making our shelter more efficient to prevent the loss of body heat. Clothes are our most efficient shelter to protect our body from the environment. If our clothing is adequate, our body core temperature can be maintained by body heat alone and not require another heat source. If our clothing is inadequate, we add a little water, a little wind. You can see how dangerously cold people can get. The main areas of the body to protect from heat loss are the head, neck, armpits, sides, and groin, because they are the areas of greatest heat loss. The old saying to cover your head when your feet get cold makes a lot of sense if you know that over half of the body heat loss is through the head. You know, it's really sad that people spend hundreds of dollars on recreational gear, but only a fraction of that on adequate clothing. Clothing that could protect them from a dangerous and common killer, cold. The best prevention for hypothermia is to stay dry. If you're wet, get dry. If you're in the water, get out, or at least get as much of your body out as possible. Water will rob the body's heat 25 times faster than air at the same temperature. If you're in the water without a survival suit, to slow heat loss, keep the head and neck out of the water. The best way to do that is to wear some type of protective flotation device or lifesaver that keeps the head and neck up. Another important posture protects the groin and armpits from cold water circulation. This is the heat escape lessening posture called the help position. For a group, a good posture is to huddle. It protects the armpits and groin and keeps non-flowing water in the center, which increases survival time. A posture to avoid is one called drown-proofing. This is where you put your hands behind your back, you deep breathe, and you bob underwater. This will work in warm water. In these cold Alaska waters, it won't work any time of the year. You actually lose body heat faster because your neck and your head is underwater. You can also keep more of your body out of the water by clinging to something. Another person, a part of the boat, a log, even a floating dead friend. He can save your life. If help is close by, don't swim. It will reduce your survival time in cold water. Each stroke you swim circulates cold water around your body. Your ability to swim becomes less each time you stroke. In midwinter 30 to 33 degree water, it's doubtful that a person could swim more than 50 feet.
Okay, take him in. Get those clothes off him.
How do you recognize that someone is hypothermic? The symptoms of hypothermia include feeling cold, shivering, the loss of coordination, slurred or unusual speech, confusion, impaired judgment, and near the end, feelings of warmth and euphoria, sort of a natural high. In time, the person becomes unconscious. The heart beats erratically, resulting in death by what appears to be a heart attack. In the field, you don't have a means of measuring body core temperature and other vital signs. You cannot rely on symptoms alone to decide how severe the case of hypothermia is. For example, some people don't shiver, and also the victim may not believe he has hypothermia. If a person is improperly sheltered from cold or wet conditions, and he might be hypothermic, it makes good sense to treat him for hypothermia.
Hey, Red, give me a hand. Welcome back to your Alaska weather. I'm meteorologist Perry Daney. Starting off with your marine forecast for the Wednesday southeast. You're going to have northerly winds out of the interior and becoming more southeast southerly along the outside waters with the strong winds that are going to be picking up with the gradient force. Higher gusts out of the bays and passes. For Thursday, continue the same northerly flow out of the near the Lynn Canal, and then transition to more southeasterly out of the near the Dixon entrance. All the outside waters are going to be gale force, 40 knots. Wave heights are going to be the highest 20 to 19 feet on the outside waters. Wednesday for the south central, you're going to have storm force winds through the Prince William Sound. And then starting to taper off some along the eastern Kenai to small craft, and then back picking up again to gale force from the Barrens south of Kodiak. Near the Cook Inlet, northeast winds, gale force as you get to the southern end, and then gale force easterly throughout the Barren and the Shelikof Strait. For Thursday, pretty much all northeasterly flow through the Prince William Sound, the Cook Inlet, all the way down to the Bering and the Kodiak Island region, Shelikof Strait on that side, and southeasterly on the Kodiak side. Again, with this included low down here. So the weaker winds are going to be there through Prince William Sound. For Wednesday, the Alaska Peninsula, you're going to have northeasterly flow on the Bering side, gale force, and then southeasterly just south of Kodiak, and then becoming more northeasterly, small craft there south of Sand Point. Thursday, predominantly all southeasterly, again with that included low that's going to be to the south of Kodiak, that's going to be moving into the region. Easterly flow through the Bristol Bay region, small craft winds. The Wednesday forecast for Aleutians, probably all northerly flow, gale force winds, weaker as you go from AKwx to Shemya to small craft, and they're going to be northeast to northerly. For Thursday, probably all northwesterly flow, and you're going to have small craft, wave heights anywhere from 10 to 8 feet, and that'll remain throughout the that Thursday daytime. Wednesday for the west coast, you're going to have northeast flow off the YK Delta and the Bristol Bay region, northerly flow through the northern Bering Strait and then through the Matthew Island, and some freezing spray issues, and gale force winds northerly near St. Paul. For Thursday, west coast, pretty much northeast flow through the along the northwest northern Bering Sea, and then coming off the YK Delta and the Bristol Bay region, easterly flow, and that's going to be gale force. The Arctic for Wednesday, you're going to have easterly flow along the from Barrow east, and then northerly along the northwest coastline going into the Bering Strait. And then for Thursday, continued northeasterly flow and northerly flow through the Bering Strait with no wave heights with ice cover. Tonight's forecast, you're going to have this occluded low approaching the south of the eastern Aleutians. There's occluded front through the Gulf, bringing this warm swath of moisture and strong winds, southerly push with warm air. So look for rain to hit along the coastline and then mix as you go in the interior. Along the southwest interior, you have a weak trough, and that'll produce the scattered snow showers, as well as a weak system falling apart along the Arctic coastline, scattered snow showers. The western Aleutians, you're going to have a weak trough and scattered snow showers. Wednesday's forecast, pretty much the same thing, occluded low that's filling. You have a good evening now.
These forecasts are to be used for planning purposes only. Call 1-800-WX-BRIEF for a formal pre-flight briefing. Always file a flight plan before you go flying. The U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary urges you to leave a float plan with a friend or the harbor master before you go boating. Alaska Weather is made possible by the following sponsors.
The National Weather Service.
Support comes from the University of Alaska College Savings Plan, helping you and your child save for college every step of the way, from diapers to diploma. More information at uacollegesavings.com.